Kamigawa Neon Dynasty products are available for pre-order now at CoolStuffInc.com. Use the promo code CGB5 and you'll get a 5% discount on your order and a sweet Covert Go Blue Wolf token for free. Pre-order now at CoolStuffInc.com. Cool stuff in stock. Hello and welcome back to another day in the arena. It's me, it's CGB, and today we're playing a discard-themed deck in Standard that kind of has some things in common with Blood Money, but combines a new Crimson Vow card with a classic of Tilt in Tergrid, God of Fright in a pretty sweet combo. So the combo I'm specifically talking about in this case is the Tergrid, God of Fright, Henrika, Domrathi combo. Henrika here is a mythic. It has flying, is a 1/3. At the beginning of combat in your turn, choose one that hasn't been chosen. Each player sacrifices a creature. Or you draw a card and you lose 1 life, or transform this into a 3/4 flying Death Touch lifelink that pumps each creature you control with flying, Death Touch, or lifelink gains a +1/+0. Anyway, so what's the cool thing here is you play Henrika on 4, or maybe even earlier if you're able to sacrifice something to a Deadly Dispute, and then the next turn you play Tergrid, the God of Fright, which says that whenever an opponent sacrifices a non-token permanent or discards a permanent card, you may put that card on from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. So when you say have Henrika and an eye twitch, and then you play Henrika, you draw a card. The next turn you play Tergrid, you move to combat, you sacrifice the eye twitch, the opponent has to sacrifice a creature, and then Tergrid gains control of that creature. Anyway, that's the meme and the dream, but since it's a free effect and the opponent doesn't often think about Tergrid anymore, it's not a common card in the meta, they often don't see it coming, and you kind of get to do it more than I thought you'd get to do it, if that makes some sense. Then the rest of the deck, we've got Acquisitions Expert to do some more discardy things, and all in all, it's not an overwhelming discard deck. The deck that I originally saw when I grabbed this was like all discardy, hence the name discard up here. But the things that are going to make them discard now are the Acquisitions Experts, recurring the Acquisitions Experts, and the Lantern side of Tergrid, which can make them discard cards. Not a big surprise, to be honest, that the discard synergies need to be cut back. Discard as a strategy, it just doesn't hold up, and I usually have to give that disclaimer every single one of these videos because it's still an incredibly popular bronze and play queue strategy. But for the most part, making the opponent discard cards doesn't matter if they draw a card off the top of their deck that's very powerful and it has value attached to it, like every time they do something. Like Werewolf Pack Leader is a good example of that, where it's like, okay, you made them discard cards, they're just going to draw more while beating you to death. It's not the strategy it used to be, that's for sure. Alchemy gives it a few more tools, so if you really want to see the discarding turned up, check out Alchemy. This is closer to a mono black control that has some tricks up its sleeve in the form of Tergrid and Tergrid's Lantern. Graveyard Trespasser also has discard in it in a way. If the opponent targets it, they have to discard a card. It does come up quite a bit. They often forget that if they have to discard a card to kill a Graveyard Trespasser while Tergrid's on the field. I've seen it. I've seen it happen. You're saying that's crazy, but it can happen. The rest of the deck, we've got some Soul Shatters, which combine with Tergrid. Onyx -3 combines with Tergrid. Miyuk Massacre, just kill things, especially like your little creatures, to try to burn them out. And Agadeem's Awakening, which actually plays a big role in this deck of getting back a full curve. You can get back a Shambling Gas, an Expert, a Trespasser, a Domnathi, and a Tergrid. If you have 8 mana, just pump it in, get them all back, and it is actually pretty fun. So this is a little bit of discard theme, but mostly a mono black control deck built around Tergrid, God of Fright, a card that continues to stalk like EDH tables, but hasn't really broken through in Standard, but it's always good for a video. So if you enjoy Standard, remember that we are going through the battle for the channel. Yesterday, day 1, huge blowout, huge epic blowout. Standard dominated. Day 2, neck and neck, like too close to call at the time that I'm recording this. All night long, they had the same view count by the thousands, and I think right now Standard's up by only like 1,000 views, something really small. And then here we go today. We're going to play these mono black decks, which are always crowd pleasers. Who will you choose? Alchemy or Standard? Watch the video that you enjoy watching. If you enjoy both, by all means, watch both. And the battle for the channel. We will see which of those becomes the flagship daily video sometime in the near future. Let's dive in. Let the Tergrid nonsense begin. Kicking off our diamond adventures today. Let's go over here and into here and hide that taskbar. What was it doing there anyway? Gassed. Draw a Deadly Dispute and return 3 Tergrid on the play. I see. Always a question of do you attack into the eye twitch? I guess ramp is fun? Ah, they're scared. If they have the Deadly Dispute and I don't, they're up like 3 cards on me already. Not going particularly well, but we're working on it. Let's try to hold the Awakening. We might end up using it as a reanimation jutsu. Yeah, they drew that other card and I drew 2 of the same card. It's not fair. It's BS. Probably just gonna play the Lantern. Black-red? They should have trouble dealing with that, and especially if they have Necrotic Fumes, right? They can try to exile my my 4/5. Merchant. They might have dragons in their deck. I think we save Soul Shatter for dragons. Hello. We hold it up because we could target ourselves to sacrifice our own creature if for any reason we wanted to do that. Say to kill a 1 toughness thing. Or to ramp. Told you they had dragons. I think this is the best card left in Standard. And it probably will be forever, because I don't think they'll ban the Mythic Dragon. Deadly Dispute's the draw, it's a good one. Trying to think if there's any reason not to just snap it off here, because we could keep holding the Awakening. Let's just get an attack. Life total is definitely a resource for the opponent now. They do have a ton of cards in hand, though. So it's going to be a long time before Lantern kills them. They just got too many resources. That's frustrating. You didn't hit the land drop. I don't really want to take 3 here. I'm not enjoying the current life total at all. If I play Soul Shatter and they sacrifice the Goldspan in response, they just lose their Skullport Merchant too, which would be great. I'm letting them have a lot of mana by waiting, but I think it's an okay plan. I want to see what they do. Uh-huh. 1, 2. Okay, they get start from scratch for the Lantern. That's... At least we have another one. The sacrifice is an artifact, right? It does. Okay. Patience, patience, patience. We go for Kalane. I can get them to sacrifice their treasure here by nuking their Goldspan Dragon now. The problem is then I can't Deadly Dispute my Lantern when they target it. Is it that important that I do that? I think we'll just keep holding. Right, here's the play. Lose 3 life or sack a thingy. They keep taking the damage. Appreciate that. Not as best in this matchup, but we'll see. I mean, obviously making them sacrifice a creature that is cheap. Not the greatest. Something that they want to die, also not the greatest. You don't want to sacrifice that dragon in response. Oh my god, they might do it. Dude, now you're just going to give up your merchant too. Well, good. Our opponent made a pretty big blunder. Do we try to kill their Kalane? What's the play? They still have fumes. So they probably take this damage, but their life total's getting low. Okay. Since they still have fumes, I'm pretty sure the right play is to play another Lantern. I'm trying to hold these until they like either do something with it or don't have fodder on the battlefield, so at least it's like it takes a good chunk of their turn. But they're down to 8. Here's a Deadly Dispute. Don't really want them to give up the treasure or have their choice of things, so I guess we'll do it now. Because they could sack the treasure or discard either of the 2 cards they draw. They get up the fumes. Okay. I guess they feel bad about that fumes. I guess they can't beat the Lantern. That game was weird and cool, and I guess I liked it. Realizing after the last game I had the music up way too loud. Sorry about that. My sound settings are all over the place in the various scenes since I disconnected the Go XLR, but do let me know if it's fixed the stuttery music issues I was having. If it didn't, leave me a timestamp. It doesn't help to say your sound is glitchy in this video, because I'll try to watch the whole thing and not notice because I'm also doing other stuff. But timestamps help. What is going on with my taskbar? Are you guys seeing this? It keeps popping up. All right, I'm fixing that. Taskbar settings. Thank you, Windows. Anybody else just pissed as hell at how Windows changed their taskbar? The things they did? Oh my god. Makes me so mad. Like, for one thing, I can't get the clock to just stay. Like, the clock isn't where I'm used to it being anymore. Like, I have multiple displays. Some other people have to be able to relate to this, okay? I'm not just babbling and wasting time here. These are legitimate complaints. Anyway, Professor of Sim blah 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 versus iTwitch. Tale as old as time. You gonna attack? They want to attack now because they get to draw cards. At least I think they do. Want to draw cards, I mean. Beating Rite of Oblivion and Vanishing Verse is going to be hard. Like, these matchups, so much grind. We definitely want them dead before they get an extra 2 toughness. So, we've got enough land, I think. I guess we'll get this to be prepared for a Planeswalker and this to feed it. Now we'll see if the opponent has their first Vanishing Verse for this Henrika. They do. They definitely do. So they're supposed to use it right now before I get value. Okay. Not every list of these plays Vanishing Verse in addition to Rite of Oblivion, but there are versions that play all the above. Yeah, I don't know how I'm supposed to grind through the Rites of Oblivion. And against this stuff, I'm pretty sure I just can't. Pretty sure this is a lost cause, but, you know, I guess we find out. I'm gonna try to get something out of them here. Rite of Oblivion, yeah. I guess we have the Trespasser. If we draw the Trespasser, can go after the rites in the graveyard. And we have a Hive. Right now there's like no good targets. Aggro. Yeah.
Do what I demand.
Well, Soul Shatter also gets the Lulth, but nothing deals with all these creatures. This is so painful. It makes me very sad. I don't think that getting rid of Lulth does anything. We need to be able to fight these creatures. The opponent could let Henrika live, but that seems really unlikely. Yeah, there's no reason for them to do that. This is just a no-win situation. 100%. Block one of these, can't block there. Hold one back. Okay. I think it's the best way to get the Lulth off the field. But we're taking a huge hit next turn. They didn't kill the Hive, so at least we didn't get Stone Rained. I think we need to try to keep this for the fumes. They play something really good. But man, we just got wrecked by these invitations, didn't we? All right, so how do we survive the next turn? We have to turn this into a 3/4 and hope their hand has nothing? That seems way too ambitious. So now we have lifelink. They could draw a land. It's a thing. Happens to some people. 3/3 Shambling Ghast. What a joke. Yeah. Can't beat the best deck in the format right now, which is this tokens deck. We don't quite have that in us without a much better start. 2 Wedding Invitations is just too much. Oh, here comes some Halana and Elena action. Probably. I mean, do you pick that avatar if you don't play the card? No early plays, but we have removal into removal into removal potentially if we need it. Yeah, that token game was a bit of a beating, but I think that that's easily the worst matchup we could be in. Unfortunately, it's probably the most popular deck now, outside of like basic mono aggro spam. This is interesting. Green-white. Reminds me a little of the deck we saw before. So I think the right play here is the Shambling Ghast, and then Henrika, sacrifice Ghast, kill the Catilda. They might play a Chariot, though. Hold on to your butts. Also, a card that would wreck me is Yasharn. Wow, that's aggressive. I mean, foretell, okay. Just wow. That's probably a Starnheim Unleashed. It's a big problem. Rude. I'm trying to pull off combos here, guys. The hell is this? Had to think about that one. Interesting. Right? A little this, a little that. Sacrifice a creature. I know, I give up on the Tergrid thing, but I think I've got to do this and slow him down. We still have another sacrifice effect in our hand. If they give up the Skyclave, they're definitely thinking about using Starnheim. A nice little... Nice series there for us. Starnheim sucks because we can't gain control of anything with Tergrid. Brutal Cathar, huh? The token? Makes sense. Alright, so what do we still have to do with this? To draw a card? Seems good. Let's see what we draw. Okay. Yeah. Think it's safe to get a damage there. We'll see if the opponent has another Apparition or Cathar. Because if they play Starnheim here and we Soul Shatter and take their Cathar, we get to hit something. That's pretty rude. That's... I kind of don't want that on the battlefield still. I mean, that turns off Enrica's, but we already used 2 of them. Trespasser. So the opponent might double block Tergrid. We could blow them out mid-combat with Soul Shatter. That sounds fun. Let's be aggressive. Let's try to close this game before the Angels take over. All right. Whoa, bro. Bro, you're giving up the farm. Raw. Part of me doesn't want it on the battlefield, but I'm who am I to turn down a 4/4 here? They're not going to play a sweeper, right? They're not going to Doomscar me, are they? They might. Let's pump instead of play the Trespasser. I mean, they wouldn't be the first person to throw a Doomscar into a deck that didn't have one before. Angels we have heard on high. All right, I think we just have to attack with the things that can trade with the Angels. Tempting to power up the Hive, but if they double block that, then they only single block something else, and then they take 7, and the Hive dies for pretty much nothing. What if they block a Ghast? Do I care? Ghast might still have some part to play for good or evil. Here's your blocks. We lose Tergrid. Opponent has 1 Angel, they drop to 10. And drop to 9. So what you got there? Another Brutal Cathar. You should Brutal Cathar the Yasharn. Yeah, now if your Brutal Cathar dies, you get a Yasharn. It's really good. Really, really good. Oops, they says. The smack. All right. Attack with a 3/3 menace, and they block like this. They get this. It's not good for me. So how do we get through? How do we finish this job? If we transform, does that do us any good? Probably not. Opponent transforms too. At least on our attack, we get 2 cards. We could also just deal the damage to the Angel, and that would, like, if they double block the Hive, or they block Trespasser and Ghast, we could just not kill this. They don't want to block Trespasser Ghast, because Ghast would do this, so they'd probably take 4. Yeah? Okay. We just do this. Why am I exiling their creature with the Hive? I should be exiling their spell. Silly CGB. Tricks are for kids. Down to 4. Back up Hive. Nighttime is the right time. Can we finish the job? Oh, shite. Amirius Gall. Them's a lot of angels. Vigilance, right? Yep. And the Brute. Sus. Okay. How do we get out of it? Draw. Deadly Dispute. So, first strike blocks the Hive. We could give it minus, but then they just get this back. And when they get the Yasharn back, we can't dispute. So let's just fire this off. Not the droids I'm looking for. I can power up both Hives, but I don't get through. That's harder. That's a heartbreaker right there. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We draw lands 10 and 11 off the top when you top a Deadly Dispute. That's an absolute heartbreaker. Dude, just, if I had drawn an Agadeem's Awakening instead, look at what would have happened. But they do have to be careful. They can't attack too much because they're so low on life, so we have a few turns here, but not many. Like, this is 15, we're at 20. Let's thin this deck, shall we? I'm sure we're just going to draw another land anyway. But if it's Agadeem's Awakening, it would be a good land. There was another land on top. Well, calls his shots, baby. And they tell me to stop calling my shots. It's too much fun. It's good content. Let's go. Dude, this is where I miss 1 life because I exiled a creature. Alright, I'm gonna exile from my own graveyard to get it. Opponent goes to 2. If I get to attack with this next turn, if they don't flip and they have no cards in hand, then I need 2 creatures in the graveyard. So we do the sacrifice thing with Henrika because we don't get to starting soon. Also, we have Tergrid on the field. They don't give up the Brute. Don't give up the Brute. Because they know the Glutton will finish them. How do I get another creature in my graveyard? I don't think there's any point in attacking with a Hive there. Hold on to your butts. Chariot off the top for the opponent. I think I've got enough, though. I think I've got enough menace and flying to do this. My goodness. How did we get here? No attack from the Vigilant. I think they know. Dude, we drew nothing but land for the last 5 draw steps, but thankfully there was there were Hives. Thankfully there was an Agadeem's. And you're telling me there's a chance. But I could have just drained them out if I hadn't exiled a creature with the Hive. Of course it would come down to something like that. But I'm pretty sure they don't have enough blockers. Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They would need 8 blockers. They have 5. Yeah, they're nowhere near against all the menace they're facing here. Dude. Wow. You love to see it. And we are back for the post-game wrap, and let's check the stats powered by Untap.gg. We don't have to. It's 2-1. Showed you all the games I've been able to make time for with this particular deck. I have a lot of projects going on. Neon Dynasty is coming out, so I'm working on a lot of things. Some of you have always wanted me to just show all the games unedited, but I mean, part of the flip side is that you get really small sample size. And I'm not going to lie, there's a part of me inside that wants to bring you more information to try to make my content more valuable. But when there's no time, there's no time. And in the battle for the channel, like I said, it's a cost. There is no time. So this deck probably has a terrible matchup against all things Wedding Invitation. We saw that in action. I think Yisharn also has a chance to totally pulverize this deck. But the deck does have some resilience, and it does have Tergrid, which can gain control of the opponent's things. And that will tilt them a lot. They don't like that. So Tergrid's a really fun build around. Henrika Damnathi is a really fun card to put into a Tergrid deck that curves directly into it. And having a sweet curve of creatures comes in handy when you're casting an Agadeem's Awakening, like at the end of the last game. Man, that was a good one. What changes could you make to the deck? You can do whatever you want with this deck. I mean, it's definitely a casual deck. It could get to Mythic if you spam it enough, but it's never going to be an optimal meta player, I don't think. So you can run a bunch of snow-covered swamps, and you can play Blood on the Snow if that was one of your favorite things about the Blood Money decks. You can run Skullport Merchant instead of Graveyard Trespasser if you want a budget option. You can run Infernal Grasp and other cheap ways to kill creatures if you find that you're losing too often to getting run over. Honestly, take it and play it however you really want to. You can run 2 Agadeems, 1 Agadeems, no Agadeems. You can do whatever you want with this one. You got my permission. Go out there, run wild, because the real point of it are the friends, like the real treasure of this deck are the friends you lose along the way because you used Tergrid and took their stuff. Thank you for watching this video. As always, I will see you in the next video. You're cool.